The thing I love about the book of Mark is just the aggression in it, the pace in it. Mark is unlike any other gospel. It's like Luke is very methodical and he's developing the storyline of his gospel, and it's kind of like watching Legends of the Fall or like Gone with the Wind. It just takes him a while to get where he's going. I mean, Mark uses words like immediately and then and immediately he did this and this is what it did, and he is just so fast paced. It's a great gospel for busy people because he gets right to the point. Mark is a bottom line talker. He's not like the people who just beat around the bush and they can't get to what they're trying to say. He tells you exactly what he wants to say, and he punches you in the face with it. And he opens up, and what we're going to do is Mark chapter 1, verses 1 through 20. That's your daily reading today. He opens up teaching us how Jesus heard the voice of his Father. And so when you get through John the Baptist preparing the way, you can start in verse 9 at his baptism, and it says, "At that time, Jesus came from Nazareth in Galilee and was baptized by John in the Jordan. Just as Jesus was coming up out of the water, he saw heaven being torn open and the Spirit descending on him like a dove. And a voice came from heaven, 'You are my Son, whom I love. With you I am well pleased.' At once the Spirit sent him out into the wilderness, and he was in the wilderness 40 days being tempted by Satan. He was with the wild animals, and angels attended him." I want you to circle this verse 11. "You are my Son, whom I love. With you I am well pleased." It's because I want to talk to you today about what is the voice that you are hearing in your mind and in your spirit. What is the voice that is like resonating inside of you? For about the last 2.5 months, my right ear has been stopped up. I got on a plane, I was sick, and I had just a head cold and had a lot of stuffiness in my head. And when we got up to a certain altitude, all of that pressure just moved behind my ear, especially my right ear. So for like last 2.5 months, I'm sitting there and like, Brooke will say something to me, and I'm just over there going, I can't hear what you say. And just honestly, the last couple of weeks, I've just been milking it, for all it's worth. Well, take out the trash. I didn't hear you. But a lot of people, their spiritual ears are stopped up from hearing the voice of God. In some accounts of this, the writers would say a thunder came from heaven, or people couldn't hear what Jesus was saying when he was saying these things. It wasn't clear when the Father was speaking to Jesus. And a lot of times this happens to us, is that we know God is trying to get our attention. It feels like thunder. God is speaking. I'm just not specifically in tune with what he is saying to me. And he is telling Jesus 3 things that he wants to tell you, and you must hear this clearly. He says, "You are mine. You're my Son." And then he says, "Whom I love and am well pleased." 3 things. He goes, "That's my boy." And he goes, "And I love him." He says, "And I am so proud of him." So with all the thunder, and sometimes you're like, God is trying to get my attention. I wonder what he is trying to say to me. This is what he's saying. You're mine. And I love you. You are so valuable to me. And I'm proud of you. Now, what is interesting with the Father here, he tells Jesus he's well pleased with him, and Jesus hasn't even started his ministry yet. I mean, when his ministry is getting ready to shoot out like a cannon. So what is he pleased with? He's just pleased that that's his Son. Do you know that you don't have to earn your way into the Father's pleasure? Like he's speaking to you, "You're my boy, you're my daughter, you're my child, and I love you this much. And I am so proud to call you mine." That's what he's speaking. If you don't hear that, I'm going to tell you, Satan will make sure you hear a voice from the world that alters every one of those things. The world will say, "You don't belong anywhere. You don't belong to anyone. Like, who are you?" "I don't even know who I am." These are the people that's just like, "I'm just trying to find myself." You don't need to find yourself. You need to hear God tell you, "You're mine." It's like when you hear the voice of the world, you'll feel unloved, undervalued. You're like, "What is my worth?" God said, "You're worth this much. I would die for you." When you don't hear and God hasn't gotten your attention and opened up the spiritual ears, you will feel unnoticed. You feel like, you know what, I'm just never good enough. I can never measure up. God goes, no, no, no. You're my boy. You're my girl. You're mine. I love you, and I'm well pleased with you. Go have a great day.